Investing your money can be a great way to build wealth over time, but you could end up paying tens to even hundreds of thousands of dollars more in taxes if you don't watch this video. Because of that, the first account that you must know about is my personal favorite, and that is the Roth IRA. You see, with a Roth IRA, it is an individual retirement account, which means that with this account, you can contribute your money and invest however you want with the purpose to have this account for your retirement. And the best part about it is that with a Roth IRA, anytime that you see the word Roth, that means that the tax structure for this account is going to look like this. The money you contribute into the account, you pay taxes on, then after that, you can invest however you want, and no matter what you do, the investments in the account grow tax-free, and best of all, when you reach the eligible age to withdraw above 59 and a half, assuming you've had the account for at least 5 years, you can withdraw anything you want from the account completely tax-free. Where if you were to use a traditional IRA instead, the contributions you put into this account are tax deductible, which the account can also grow tax-free. But the reason I avoid this is because you have to pay taxes on the back end when you withdraw from this account. And so the reason that the concept of the Roth is beyond my favorite way to invest in the stock market is because what you put into this account, you are investing for the long term. So everything that you earn and grow, the goal and incentive is that at the end, you're going to be able to withdraw completely tax-free. And so the biggest advantage to all this is that you're taking advantage of the power of compound interest, which means as you grow your investments over time, you'll just continue to make more money, and that money you make can continue to compound and grow more and more money over time. And especially for retirement purposes, where you'll be investing for 20, 30, even 40 years, the fact of you having more time to let your investments grow, the bigger the end portfolio could be. So why not avoid all the taxes after all the years of growing this portfolio? Now with the Roth IRA, the main things that you need to know about with this account is first off that there is a limit on how much you can contribute into this account called the contribution limit. And as of the year 2024, that limit is $7,000 per year if you're under 50, and then there's an extra $1,000 that's a catch-up year, so you can do $8,000 per year if you are above 50, which the limits do increase over time because of economic factors like inflation. But let's just say that you invest $7,000 per year for the next 30 years, getting the average stock market return of 8%. That means your end portfolio could be $863,000 completely tax-free. And so with this account, you can actually withdraw the contributions that you have put into the account anytime completely tax-free and penalty-free. But if you withdraw earnings that you made from growing investments in this account before you were actually eligible to do so, you're going to have to pay taxes and an additional 10% penalty fee. Besides that, with the Roth IRA, it's also nice because there are no RMDs, which are required minimum distributions, which means you're never forced to withdraw from this account, where with the traditional IRA, you eventually have to. And so another thing with the Roth IRA is that there is also called an income limit, which pretty much means that if you have a certain income and above, that you are ineligible to contribute to your Roth IRA. So for the year of 2024, if you were single with an income above $161,000, you are ineligible to contribute to the Roth. But if you're in this position, you could actually do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA, which is pretty much putting money into a traditional IRA and then paying taxes and converting that to a Roth IRA, which I'll eventually make a video on. And if you're in that position, I highly recommend you look into that further to make sure that you properly do it. So that sums up the Roth IRA. The next account to take advantage of is a Roth 401k. Now, if you can't benefit from using an employer-sponsored plan like the 401k, you may also be able to get a 403b, 457, or if you're self-employed, I'll cover more on that later at the end of the video, but many of these options are going to be very similar to the 401k. And if you're wondering why I said Roth 401k over a traditional 401k, that is because the tax structure for the Roth is going to be the exact same, where you pay taxes up front. Through the years of growing the account and on the back end, you do not have to pay the taxes. So in my opinion, the Roth 401k is the way to go because you're investing over time for your future retirement that you want it to be large and to avoid taxes. So if you have the option and the time to grow the account and you can utilize a Roth 401k over a traditional, I would prefer to go the Roth. And so with the Roth 401k, the contribution limit, the max amount that you can put in the account, if you're under 50 is $23,000. And if you are over that, you can do an extra $7,500, which would be $30,500 for the year of 2024, which by the way, that is only for the specific employee contributions that you do. There could be a total of $69,000 if your employer does contributions on their end. Which another huge change that has recently come upon is that for 2024 and years later, RMDs are no longer required for any designated Roth account like this Roth 401k, which it's also cool to know that no matter how much you earn, you can still contribute to a Roth 401k, assuming that your employer has one. Another unique thing is that your employer may offer some sort of contribution for you. So let's say you make $60,000 of after-tax income, you contribute 4% of your income into the 401k, your employer matches that 4%, which means 4% of $60,000 is $2,400, which is how much of your salary you would end up contributing after a full year, where your employer would also contribute that additional $2,400 for you. And when it comes to actually picking the investments in this account, you're not going to have as much flexibility as a Roth IRA, but your company will typically offer you options to choose from, where most options are mutual funds. With that said, the next account is a health savings account known as an HSA. Now, it's reported that 88% of HSA holders keep their accounts entirely in cash, which if this is you, you could be missing out on significant opportunity to actually be investing your money. You see, with an HSA, it's not just a normal, ordinary savings account, although the name makes it seem like it. The thing about it is that you can actually invest in this account where you can grow your investments, and the way I like to view this account is more so a health retirement investing account. The true benefit here is that this is a triple tax advantaged account because the contributions you make are tax deductible, your investments grow tax-free, and the withdrawals are also tax-free, assuming they are for qualified medical expenses. Just be aware that most states also waive the HSA contributions, but states like California, New Jersey, and Alabama, you would still owe state income tax. But in order to contribute to an HSA, you must have a high deductible health plan, where the limits for this on how much you can contribute into the HSA account for the year 2025 is $4,300 for single coverage, and then for a family, that is up to $8,550, which if you're above 55, you can do an extra $1,000. And so with an HSA, the first account I'd recommend looking into if you're curious would be through Fidelity, where on their page you can see that you can sign up and choose and manage your own investments, or use Fidelity Go, which is a robo-advisor Fidelity will automatically manage for you based on your inputs. And of course, if you do have a financial advisor, I'd recommend talking to them to see which accounts that I'm mentioning in this video you may actually be interested to implement that you may not already be doing. But another thing that makes the HSA stand out to me is that there are no RMDs, required minimum distributions. You're never forced to take out any of the money with this account, no matter the age. Where with a flexible spending account, FSA, with that account, you are actually going to have to use all your funds in the given year, or else you're going to lose all of it. So all in all, with an HSA, if you can contribute into this account and maximize as much as you can out of it without actually needing to use the money right now, the more that you can invest in this account and prioritize it for your future medical expenses, your future self will thank you 100 times over, and that will allow your 401k and your Roth IRA to be more beneficial in other areas besides medical expenses. In fact, it's reported that a 65-year-old couple retiring can expect to need as much as $318,000 for medical expenses, where if you were to invest $4,000 every year for the next 30 years, getting the average stock market return in this account, your end portfolio would be $453,000, which is completely tax-free for any medical-related expenses. With that said, the next account you need to know about is a 529 college savings plan. Now, a 529 college savings plan is a tax-advantaged account designed to help families save for education expenses. And how this works is that you can contribute after-tax dollars, where the investments in the account grow tax-free, where you can then withdraw funds for the qualified expenses completely tax-free as well. It's important to know that with a 529 plan, the qualified expenses aren't just for college, because they can be for K through 12 tuition, student loans, or even more specific in areas like room and board, books and supplies, where the list literally goes on. But if you withdraw for anything that is not qualified, you are going to have to pay taxes and a 10% penalty fee, which there are some exceptions such as death or becoming disabled. However, more than 30 states offer a tax deduction for the contributions you put into a 529 plan, which the amount that can be deducted depends on the state, so I highly recommend you look into this further before you get started. But in fact, with a 529 plan, there is no annual limit on how much you can contribute into this account in a given year, but there is a lifetime contribution limit, which is called the aggregate contribution limit, where each state ranges on this, and you could expect to see the range of $235,000 to even greater than $550,000. And different 529 plans also vary as well, so if you are going to be looking into any of these, I would highly recommend you doing your own research and understand what you're getting yourself into. But I have to mention that there was recently a huge change at the beginning of 2024 to the 529 plans, because any leftover funds in the plan can be now rolled rolled over to a Roth IRA without any additional income tax or penalties. The rules for the rollover are limited to the contribution limit each year for the Roth IRA, which is currently $7,000 per year, and the lifetime total rollover amount from the 529 to the Roth IRA is $35,000. This is huge because you can now take advantage of putting money into a 529 plan for education costs, and if you have any leftover funds, maybe the account grew significantly that you had extra, you can now put that into retirement savings with a Roth IRA. But just understand that with these, you must have had the 529 plan for at least 15 years before you can roll over, which the contributions must also have been from at least 5 years or longer. And the last thing about the 529 plans is that if you overfund or you grow this account too large, that you can also switch beneficiaries at any time. So say you have a kid that graduated, you could then change this to the next child attending college. With that noted, the last account that I'm going to mention is if you are self-employed, because an employer-sponsored retirement account like a 401k is not an option, but it actually could be for you if you are a small business owner, depending on the criteria, which is a solo Roth 401k. So this account is designed for a business owner with no employees, but with this account, there's no age or income restrictions, and for the contribution amounts in 2024, you can contribute $23,000 to the solo 401k, and if you're over 50, you can do an extra $7,500. And since you're the only one in the business and that you are the employer, you can actually contribute up to $69,000 per year, where if you're over 50, that would be $76,500. Now with this account, the tax structure depends on if you choose a traditional or Roth solo 401k, where with the Roth, you pay taxes up front, where the back-end distributions are tax-free, and as long as you have an EIN number, many online brokers will allow you to open one up. And just understand that if you have a 401k with your day job, that the limits apply to all the contributions across all plans, not each individual one. So I would highly recommend that depending on what you're contributing, how much, and everything that you're about to do, that you talk to a tax professional to just make sure that you're doing things properly. But the fact that the limits are so much higher than the Roth IRA, and that you could do this for many years investing for your retirement and then eventually avoid taxes on the back end, I truly think this account is a great option to consider if you are self-employed doing things on your own. Which if you would rather just get a tax deduction in the current years instead of paying taxes and then investing, you also could do the traditional 401k, but just remember you have to pay taxes on the back end. So that right there covers 5 of the best tax advantaged accounts that you can invest into and benefit from. If you want to learn more about stock market taxes or any other relevant content that I've created, I think you'll really benefit from, I'll leave links in the description below for you, which if you also want to check out my free investing guide I created or want to see how I allocate my investments, I'll have direct links to those in the description below as well. And as always, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notifications button for future content like this.